darn filthy commies.
Yeah.
Yeah, August 5th, 2020, I man behind a Target in Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah. And I can't name any towns in Missouri. Are there towns in Missouri? Like,
Are there people in Missouri?
Do people live in Missouri?
Okay, so my aunt used to play basketball in Missouri. I swear to you, we went on this road trip. I woke up and they went, "Hey, we just entered into the state." I'm looking around and I see nothing for miles. And then I see whatever school she's playing at. And I'm just like, is this it? Is this what Missouri is?
I feel that way about like 90% of U.S. states.
Like, honestly, yeah,
Like, what?
that is. That's exactly what 90% of U.S. states are.
It's like the population is basically concentrated in the East Coast, California, Texas, and Florida, and the Greater Lakes region, like Chicago, Detroit.
Like every
It's
time
like most people live there.
Every time people bring up overpopulation, I'm just like, what are you
Have
talking
you ever
about?
driven through like Kansas?
Like Kansas,
Like, come on.
Arizona, Texas.
So that's some
like,
fashy shit saying overpopulation's a problem. You still like stop people from having babies.
Like there's wide swaths of Michigan that are just like,
Literally.
oh my god.
I mean, I grew up in a town that was like half rural, half urban. You go like 10 miles west out of town and it's like just farm everywhere, or farm and forest, and that's it.
I mean, like, farm, I would rather the farm be there. I would rather the farms be in use.
I would rather the farms aren't single cropping and like
Yeah.
destroying the environment, but at least we're making some food. Oh man, when we went to the collective farms in Cuba, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, because they would like plant a bunch of different stuff in like these natural fields. They would only plant things that like could actually grow naturally with no fertilizers or pesticides or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because they couldn't like import anything because of the blockade, but anything they produced from those farms, they would like give right back to the community. They didn't like take them to a market and like sell them in bulk, or like have contractors like take things out. It was all just like, this is the farm for the community, and then the community grows and eats the products of the farm. And it's like, this makes so much more sense than anything I've seen in America. Oh my god, especially like the cornfields. That shit is insane.
So I was extremely surprised. I was going into my brother's neighborhood because we were looking to do our chair and we were actually just out together because we were just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
But we were actually, no, that's a lie. Like, we just happened to be chilling and going to meet another comrade from another club.
Yeah.
And we went by my brother's neighborhood and decided to like look out for everything that we could organize around. And I looked over across the street, and apparently there's a neighborhood farm getting ready to develop.
That's awesome.
Like, I was extremely surprised because they always do like the most capitalist shit over there. Like,
Yeah.
they always try to like put like 1,001 stores over there. They always end up getting robbed, but
Of course. Oh
Like-
my god.
like, look, you put like a mega store right next to an impoverished neighborhood, and you're literally asking for it. Like, you put capitalism right in their faces, and you're literally asking
Yeah,
for
you're
it.
asking for it. I mean, you know more than I do, but goddamn, some of those liquor stores where they have like a buzz-in door and then like bars on all the windows and shit. And it's like, this is not normal.
The dollar stores
Yeah.
where like you walk in one day and it's like, oh yeah, let me grab some deodorant. You walk in the next week, it is just like, why is there armor on my deodorant?
Like, why is this shit locked up? That is so, it's like so evident about how much capital cares about like protecting their material possessions over the fucking whole world.
Like, instead of making the deodorant $7 for no reason, how about you reduce the price, stop being greedy, and maybe your deodorant won't get stolen?
There you go. That's a great idea. They should try that. It's like they say, back to those like farms. I think it's so important. Like the classic Soviet propaganda like line was peace, land, and bread. And like those three things, peace, land, and bread, when you organize around those things, that's when you develop like a significant, real revolutionary movement. Especially here, like food is going to be such an important part going forward. I say this all the time. Once we really start feeling like the effects of like food shortages and like food stamps, like more people get food stamps, food shortages, like imports are going to be lessened. We're going to see like another Dust Bowl type situation where the environment is just getting fucked up, and like food organizing is going to become extremely important, which is why I got to start organizing this stuff now, like developing collective food development, like local farms and all that good stuff.
Right.
Because if communists can provide people with food, which is what they always historically have done, everyone's going to be like, oh wait, these people actually care about us and our lives and like the sustaining of our livelihood and like our families, because we're literally giving them food. What are the capitalists doing? They're blocking food behind bars.
Like,
Saying,
quite
like,
literally.
how dare you?
You know what the capitalists are doing?
What are they doing?
Causing false food shortages for no reason.
Yeah, it's all
Like,
fake and artificial food shortages.
Just, yeah, we're running out of food. You mean the food that you decided to throw in the dumpster for no reason that was completely fresh?
And then they'll put locks on the dumpsters when they
Right.
see like people trying to get in there and get the food. I'm like, are you kidding me? You just threw it out.
Like,
You would rather that go to a dumpster than somebody eat it.
for years, I followed dumpster diving.
Oh yeah.
Like, because they would find full-on toys,
Oh, yeah.
meals, like meals from like Starbucks. Like, that's why
Yeah.
we're doing like the food rescue and everything. And it's like,
Yeah, for real. I encourage businesses that actually engage with food rescue programs, because it's like at least they're recognizing how much food they're wasting day to day, just throwing away all this stuff in the goddamn dumpster.
like
Yeah, that shit pisses
capitalism,
me off.
it just does nothing but waste. Like, it's just, oh, capitalism creates innovation. Where? It creates waste.
It creates waste, exactly.
It creates complete waste wherever it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Waste of space, waste of food, waste of environment.
Waste of lives. It's just everything gets destroyed in capitalism. Yeah, like the idea of degrowth is tempting to me, because it's like we have so many of these buildings and warehouses and like just businesses that don't need to exist outside of a capitalist context. Think about how many like insurance buildings there are, or like service buildings for specifically like financial sector stuff. Does any of that need to like be standing as a building? Not really. What part of the post like proletariat revolutionary moment and like the real establishment of a dictatorship of the proletariat, you'll see that a lot of these jobs in our American context specifically just don't have a function in a socialist society. Those people are going to have to like reckon with the fact that like, well, our jobs are just like not useful. People are already starting to deal with this. Like, think about how many people we know who just have like an office job where they sit in front of a computer and they just like do menial tasks that like don't really have an impact on anything real. And it's like, this shit does not need to exist, and these people would be much happier putting their work and their labor into something actually productive to society.
Well, it's upper society, the upper crust,
Yeah.
literally creating. I can't remember if it was Marx or Lenin,
Mm-hmm.
but one of them, they basically were breaking down, like taking skills away from people.
Mm.
Like they were speaking about like watchmaking at this point. I think it was Marx.
Yeah.
But they were speaking about watchmaking and how instead of one person really knowing what goes into a watch, every
Mhm.
single component, how to really put that watch together from beginning to end, they just, oh, you create this piece of the watch, and then you create this piece of the watch, and then
Yeah.
you create the face of the watch, and none of those people interact until it's, all right, we have to like put the whole thing together.
Uh-huh. But then no one person can just do all that.
Right.
And I think they call it like the specialization of production.
Yes.
And that's, it's so weird because it's like on one hand it can mass produce things, but like in America we're in a specific conditions where like all of our means of production have been like fully developed. We are not going to have to go through like a rapid industrial process like Russia did or China did in their revolutions, where they had to like build industry from like nothing. We already have all this industry. In fact, we have like too much industry. That's like our weird conditions of like, we've been the imperialist hegemon in the world for like at least 150 years, if not longer, of like full industrialized dominance over the world. And so like thinking about what's going to come after that, it's not going to be like a moment of everyone coming together and like building up a society out of nothing. It's going to be us reorganizing an already existing structure and like really rethinking how we have to run a society, cutting out the things that we don't need. I'm not talking about like human beings, cutting out human beings, because I know some dumbass anti-communists are gonna jump on that. But I mean literally jobs that don't matter, and like road infrastructure, like car infrastructure, transitioning into like public transit infrastructure, or getting rid of the fucking ads that are everywhere and shoved down our throats constantly. Oh my god.
It's still,
that does not need to exist.
It still ticks me off that China went for train infrastructure at the same point that we were going for train infrastructure, and then
They've
our
like passed
country,
us so far.
Our country literally decided to go, oh, who's this guy? Elon? Yeah, hand him all the money that we were like, come on, dude. Like,
Elon Musk has not only taken over all of the train and like public transport stuff that we were gonna do, but also all of the space exploration stuff that we were working on. They like fully privatized space, and I thought that was like the dumbest thing they ever did.
like what?
It doesn't make any sense. Elon Musk is setting up rockets that just crash.
Like, it's literally just.
And you know why they're doing this? Is so they can go into space and find meteorites that have like a bunch of valuable resources in them, so they can just perpetuate capitalism further.
That's so stupid and a waste of resources. You're literally wasting
It's
resources
wasted.
and capital to gain nothing.
Mm-hmm. Literally nothing. But like that's what's crazy about it.
I'll keep
Oh my
saying
God.
it. Capitalists can't even do capitalism, right?
True.
Like,
I feel like I'd be a better capitalist than the capitalist. I feel like I
oh
could
my God.
think it through better.
like quite literally, like, so the reason
Just
they
idiots.
don't do capitalism right, because if you do capitalism right, it eventually turns into socialism.
I hate Leon Trotsky. Leon Trotsky was I won't say it, but he had meetings with Hitler. I'll just say that.
So like I've been like having beef for the past like 30 minutes
Yeah.
with this bookshelf because I
There are
keep
some
looking
Trotsky
at it.
books in this
I keep looking at it and there's just straight up Trotsky books. Just like, oh my God, why?
Well, there's Mark's books next to them, so hopefully they'll just read both and then realize how incorrect Trotsky is about
Well,
it.
there's got to be Lenin.
Oh, there's definitely Lenin.
So they can understand how much Lenin hated Trotsky.
Oh my god, I hate when people say that like Trotsky was like just as important as Lenin. Trotsky was he was an opportunist the entire time. He was never like leading the front of the revolution. He was always the one trying to like pull it back and trying to resist the revolution. And they only let him into the party and like into the coalitions and shit like that because he had like genuine influence, and he was somewhat willing to work with them in the years of like 1905 from like 1917, the years of the actual armed revolution in Russia. But like after they took state power and like established the Soviet Union, or whatever it was called at first, I can't remember. Somebody in the comments will correct me. But like Trotsky, right away started to antagonize the Bolshevik leadership, Lenin, all these guys, and he was saying like we need to literally restore the Tsar, like restore capitalism, like saying all this insane shit. So they purge him from the party and exile him. They don't even execute him, so like maybe they should have. Who knows? But he goes on to this might have been during or after, but he goes on to like organize a coup attempt of like these reactionaries, like ultra leftists and reactionary people in the Soviet Union, to overthrow the government and like collaborate with the German capitalists to like end the Russian Revolution, because he hated Lenin and those guys so much. And it's like this dude was never a genuine revolutionary. He was always opposed to socialism in one country. That's like the sticking point for him. Is like he thought it was a bad idea to like quote unquote stop the revolution in one country and like not continue with the spontaneous world revolution that he thought was going to happen like everywhere, in like Britain and Germany and all that. And clearly he was wrong. He should have been able to recognize that he was wrong from the goddamn Paris Commune, because like the Paris Commune was an attempt to like just start a revolution within France, and the capitalist forces just came in and killed everyone and crushed the revolution. So it's like they are going to do this. They're always going to take arms against a socialist state or any sort of communist power. They're going to fight it. And this is so true in the Soviet Union, because what happens in like the 1920s in the Soviet Union is the Western capitalist forces literally invade the Soviet Union. The United States is one of them. The United States invaded the Soviet Union. People don't know that. But they like set foot in Russia, in the Soviet Union, in an attempt to overthrow the government. So it's like, how can you do a spontaneous world revolution and not have like state power at all, and just say like the state is something we don't do? You have to have a state if you want to like preserve any monicum of a revolutionary people's government. You have to. And I think history has proven it time and time again. Every successful socialist state is like aware of this and like understands socialism needs to have like nations in the national context. That's just my little rant on Trotsky. And like people who believe the words of this man who's been dead for like 100 years and has no relevancy in modern socialist countries. You know who does have relevancy in these new nations, in like nations that survived the 90s and like the fall of the Soviet Union? Those places.
Communism?
Yeah, definitely. Like that's basically what the MAGA communists are saying too. Like it's just all this insanity, and partly why people are so enraptured with Trotsky in America specifically is because it's an intentional play by the media in America to like promote Trotskyism, and because Trotsky was an anti-Bolshevik and like he was anti-Soviet, anti-Stalinist, as like they like to say. But that's why they were like publishing his books and like bringing Trotskyists onto the media and like trying to portray Trotskyism as like communism, as socialism. Is like that's actually what Trotskyism is, and that's why all these Trotskyist organizations now don't like outwardly call themselves Trotskyists. They call themselves like revolutionary socialists or like revolutionary communists, just like outward-facing revolutionary, outward-facing Soviet. But then once you really dig into what they're saying, it's just like reactionary nonsense. It's so frustrating. That was just my little rant on Trotsky.
I mean, honestly, all of that is what I really believe, like, breeds factionalism.
Yeah.
Like, like, it's terrible because you can have all of these comrades, all of these people, and, like, everyone's learning the same thing, but some people will just, like, take what, like, Trotsky's saying, take what, like, the revolutionary parties are saying, and then, like, drag it into our party. Because, like, that's how, like, we got into that whole stupid incident that we did with that resolution.
Yeah.
Because, like, people were just dragging in, like, outside like teachings, outside forces, listening to like complete dummies,
Yep.
like just being just completely just online for no reason. Like you gotta log off, buddy. You gotta touch
the
grass.
For real. You want a name drop?
No.
They don't deserve it.
No,
On our
they
massive
don't.
platform, they don't deserve the name drops. But yeah, that stuff pisses me off. You know what also makes me mad is like I have what I feel are like legitimate criticisms of that resolution, and like even the party. Like I have criticisms of the party, but I'm not about to write up a petition and like work outside of the means of the party to like undermine the democratically centralized agreement that we all agreed to when we joined this party.
See, like that's the thing. Like you can have like disagreements with the party. Like that's how the
like,
party
encouraged.
moves forward.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they were kind of acting like they didn't have a platform to bring out their criticisms, or like they were not allowed the time and space to like give their criticisms. Which like there might be some truth in the sense that there wasn't enough time allotted at the national convention to discuss that resolution specifically. And the leadership has even admitted this afterwards. Like, yeah, we probably should have spent more time on this because it's more important than we thought.
I mean, the leadership admitted it right afterward.
Yeah.
Like
Basically in response, they were like, yeah, you're right, we probably should have spent more time on this resolution. But also you've had like months to prepare materials for the national convention, and we didn't see you guys submit anything.
so, like from what I know, like these people are just like they're organizing like completely outside of like their districts, completely outside of like they didn't even consult people first. Like the person that we saw personally, like within our like little chats and everything, the person we saw personally, they didn't even consult their club about it.
Yeah,
And, like that's where the problems come from. Like you don't consult your club, you don't consult your district, and then all of a sudden you're just up in arms because you think,
Right.
oh, it's being handled wrong. Nobody, you're handling it wrong.
exactly. Well, and from that, like, what did these clubs do? They didn't do anything that you're talking about. Like, talk to the clubs or like have a real discussion. They just went immediately to like making this weird petition. And they referenced a article in the party constitution that says clubs can organize a special national convention call for a special national convention. But they clearly didn't read it, because what it says is that district clubs can call for a special national convention, not local clubs. Only the districts can do that, like statewide districts. Did these clubs do that?
Not at all.
It's like I don't know if I want to say it, but I won't say which club specifically, but these are like small locals that kind of like reached over literally thousands of miles. There's like East Coast and West Coast clubs in this petition, which is really weird. Like, how do you even have contact with each other in the first place? Like, why do you need to be organizing from California to Connecticut? That doesn't make any sense.
See, like on a national scale, it makes sense to like if you're organizing with everyone.
Yeah.
If you're just organizing bits and pieces, that looks really weird,
It
buddy.
looks really sus, is what I'll say.
Like the first thing you did
enough.
was like reach out specifically to like single clubs, to single people out, new clubs, specifically new clubs. And then you decided to go to like the more powerhouse clubs, and then all of them just decided, no, that's weird.
Yeah, like they brought it to us. I think somebody in our club actually got like a DM from these people, like giving them the petition. And like we were all immediately like, what is this? We're not gonna sign this. And we had a discussion in our like district-wide chat about it, and I was expecting like more drama around it, but it was pretty unanimous. Everyone was like, yeah, this is stupid. We're not gonna engage with this petition. I was like, hell yeah.
Well, yeah, it's completely wild. Like, it was out of, like, weird, like, super duper left field. Like, you just
Yeah.
decided to throw a snowball in the middle of summer. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I know. I also believe these clubs were like they're not in the party anymore because of this, which like I would support that. Like you can't be breaking the party constitution like that. And if you have a problem with the party constitution, write a resolution about it, submit it to the national convention, just bring up like real scientific analysis on why you don't like the constitution, like how you think it should be changed. Like if they made a resolution that said alter the party constitution so that local clubs can organize a special national convention, which is basically what they tried to do. So it's like, well, maybe you should start by getting that to be a thing you can even do in the party in the first place, instead of just like undermining the process.
So, like, here's the other major problem with that. Even if they did have the power to do that, even if we did just decided to, just throw them a bone. Let's just do it anyways.
Yeah.
Where's all that money coming from, buddy?
Yeah.
See, like,
Where's your funding?
That's the thing, like, we're super anti-capitalist, but we still need money in this country, buddy.
Yeah, you can't just not do money.
Like, we need food, shelter. Where are we going to have this event?
Where are we going to put
How
our
are we going to get people there?
Crazy.
Like, what are you doing? Where's all that coming from? And
I'm on Twitter looking for some funny.
As I told our chair, like, they must have wanted us to be starving and just chatting it up in the middle of the night by candlelight and shit.
That's basically, it's like, that's real LARPing, is like not having money and just like being in a dark room and like talking about how you're gonna do a revolution. Like that is what LARPing actually is. You know what we're not doing that. You know what we're doing? We're going into the community and organizing in the community to like genuinely build working class solidarity, genuinely build like revolutionary movements. I pulled up this dude is so cringe. Jackson Hinkle.
Oh yeah.
He's like holding a big American flag.
Face.
Oh my god. I can't stand that guy. I also can't stand Midwestern marks. When I first saw Midwestern marks on TikTok like a long time ago, and like some of his videos, when you're just like on the surface, you're like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, did the camera die? Or
I just need to do
the thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna go take this call.
Is it good?
Yeah, we're good.
Midwestern marks, I'm coming for you. I can't say that. Midwestern marks, you used to make good videos, but then you became a full-on grifter, and it sucks. Hate it. Oh man, this communism shit.
Like I'm not.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's extremely exhausting, but like it's something you really have to be like. You have to be willing to organize. You have to be willing to get out there. You have to be willing to actually help the proletariat and not just
antagonize them.
Right. Because like we're sitting on a couch behind microphones, but like probably next week we're probably going to be like out on the streets with signs and fucking megaphones and shit.
Yeah.
Like we went to the encampments. We went like actually organizing. Like I haven't seen like any of these other like perpetually online people just actually be out there.
And you know what really pisses me off too is when these guys actually go outside, they are making themselves an outside presence, because they'll go to these events with like their dumb fucking newspapers and their articles that are just like antagonistic to these movements. They'll try and co-opt things. They'll try and like make it their own. I was at a Palestine rally in Ann Arbor, and there was a Trotskyist party there, And they were not just like amongst the people, you know, doing the chants and marching along and like holding signs. They were not doing that. What they were doing, they had a megaphone that they gave to their presidential candidate. This guy's running for president, and he had a microphone, and he was just like, you know, prophetizing his shit or whatever he was saying. It was just nonsense. They had somebody running around with like a petition, and I'm like, that is how you're portraying yourself to these people? Is like a megaphone and a petition board, just running around acting like idiots.
That's some weird,
It's
liberal ass shit.
I was so weirded out by it, and I was so weirded out that I actually confronted them after the event was over. I had the respect to wait.
I don't know how deep we are. Was I supposed to swear? Dang. Anyway.
Oh, I don't care. Bleep me if you have to. If I'm on pod, I'll say whatever I want.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, I confronted these guys after the event was over, because I didn't want to confront them while it was happening, because I'm like, I have the respect of the organizers of this event to like engage with the actual marching and actual chanting while it's happening. But afterwards I walked up to them and I was like, you know, there's like a time and a place to do whatever you're doing, but like the time and place is not right now. Like what matters right now is like showing solidarity with these young students trying to protest against the genocide. And my fatal mistake was telling them that I'm with the Communist Party, because they immediately said, oh, we don't talk to Stalinists, turned around, walked away, and just ignored me. And I was like, wow, that's like a really good way to, you know, grow left unity and develop the revolution, you know, by just calling everyone Stalinists and then ignoring them. And trying to boost your presidential campaign at a Palestine rally. God damn, it was so cringe.
Dude, that's really weird.
Did you hear about this thing in Detroit too during Detroit Pride? I heard something about like some communist organization like outside of the main Pride event, like nearby the like homophobe groups, like passing out flyers or something. I don't think it was. It definitely wasn't CPUSA. I think it was a Trotskyist organization.
It had to be Trotsky Pride.
But like that's just more epidemic of what I'm talking about. It's like how they are not in these things; they're outside of them, and like they view it as just like a marketing opportunity.
Right.
And it's like so weird.
It's
so
super
weird.
sleazy.
It's very sleazy.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like just the most weird liberal thing that I can possibly imagine.
Yes. That's something like Democrats would do.
That's extreme.
You know?
Oh.
There's the Democratic Party building here in Ypsilanti. It's like a small little shack. I never see anyone go in there, ever.
I hate looking at it.
It's so ugly.
It's right next to my favorite store, too.
Oh, what is it?
Latino shop.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff there, but yeah, it's annoying. I want to like graffiti it, but I'm not about to do that. I'm not a graffiti artist. I respect private property too much for that.
No, don't go anarchy on me now.
Yeah. No, this is not the anarchist episode. This is the Trotskyist episode. We'll get to that.
Speaking of way off topic. Topic. When I was an anarchist, like this was back when I was like an actual teenager.
Of course.
There's this liquor store.
Uh-huh.
There was my high school, this tiny patch of woods, and then a liquor store.
Yeah.
And we would always like cross the patch of woods to go to the liquor store to get like our monsters and beef jerky and all that stuff. Like behind the liquor store, like if you're coming out of the little patch of woods and you look over, you can see bright orange paint. If you step over to the left like 3 feet, it's a giant bright orange anarchist symbol.
Whoa.
Because we only had bright orange paint.
That's so funny. Just a big orange A.
Like my friend just one day came up to me and went, "Hey, I've got spray paint. Do you want to spray paint the school?" And I'm like, "No, dude. There's way too many cameras." Because I've been in the office because my grandfather used to drive the bus. So I knew where all the cameras
you have
were.
all the info, yeah.
And I was like, nah, dude, the cameras move too much. And surprisingly, every time we got into school fights, the cameras would turn away from us.
Oh, wow.
It was really weird.
It's weird.
So we would never get in trouble from that. But I was still like, nah, we can't. Like,
we can't do this.
so I was like, let's go to the liquor store where there's no camera like on the side and in the back.
Yeah.
We could spray paint there. So we spray painted
That's
big
so funny.
giant orange anarchist.
Big old A, old orange A. How long did it stay there?
Oh, it stayed there for years.
That's awesome.
Like
Oh.
we went back to the liquor
Because who's
store.
gonna clean that?
Oh yeah, like they. I don't think they noticed
That's even funnier.
because it was like the back of the store where like the woods,
away.
the woods like was almost right against the
Right.
building, to where like you can smoke like a secret cigarette and nobody could tell.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, that's a great smoke spot for when you're in high
It
school.
really was, but everybody liked smoking at the church though,
Oh, wow. Okay.
because it was the church. Fuck the church.
Yeah, there you go. No, this isn't a religion episode. We already did those. Can't talk about that.
No, like that specific church.
Yeah, that church.
That specific church. I'll talk about why we had problems with it later.
Yeah.
But
That's good. I don't think I ever did any graffiti. I didn't do a lot of vandalism. I was a goody two shoes little white boy. We didn't get into no trouble. The worst trouble we got into was like licking the floor of a liquor store to dare each other to like lick the floor. Yeah, it was pretty gross. Yeah, that's mostly what we did, is just dare each other to do really gross things.
oh yeah, I was a bad little kid. I was terrible.
That's why I love communism, because it brings together people from all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of people can have the revolutionary truth imbued in them.
Like I was one of those peoples that scared themselves straight instead of like having to get arrested.
There you go. I feel like that's a better way to go. Getting arrested is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No,
Like, it's-
I'm not going to say anything about anarchists. I won't do it.
I mean,
Getting arrested is not a good tactic. Well,
it's
it
really
can be,
not.
but not right now. You're not going to get anything done if all your people are in jail.
Like the grandstand that they think getting arrested. So this is actually like one of the problems that I have like with my culture is like getting arrested is not the flex you think it is.
Definitely not.
Like back in the day, like getting arrested for something was like getting arrested for a purpose. It wasn't getting arrested just because, oh, it's gotta make this grandstand and like the grandstand be forgotten 3 weeks later.
Yeah. No, exactly. And like the risk associated with it is just, it's not worth it.
It's completely
It's so
dumb.
not worth it. Like, why are we willingly putting ourselves into this system that is designed to literally put human beings in cages and
Like,
not
let's
allow them
get
to-
arrested and have the government make money off of us.
Yeah. Wow. Great idea.
Let's go do legal slavery.
Yeah. Like, wow. We should do a whole episode on like the prison industrial complex and like
Oh,
the history
yeah.
of how that emerged out of slavery, because it's like a really interesting and radicalizing thing to talk about, especially for people who don't understand that history. It's like this thing is not natural. Like there's nothing about it that has any positive effect on society. Like it's purely negative. Even the worst criminals don't become better by like putting them in prison. They're not gonna be like reformed people because they went to prison. The whole
Like-
point is to make money.
The craziest thing that they do, well, aside from like the officers in
It's
there
crazy
being
shit.
like complete dog shit, but
Yeah.
one of the craziest things that they do, there I'll put it like that.
One of the craziest.
One of the craziest things that they do is send you out on like work release
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pay you like
It's
like
way less.
less than 70 cents a day.
That is like, how is that possible? Oh my god.
Like
We truly live in a society.
Like the work release is just like less than 70 cents a day. Like, yeah, and like they really try to get you to like sign up for it. Like they'll be in your face about it. Like, yo, you wanna like do this and that and the other, and we'll promise we'll pay you to go towards your commissary. Like, no,
Don't fall for that. Wow.
no, like. But like, there's so many people who are like on their own that actually have a friend that he's homeless, but like there's certain problems with like the way he thinks, and he's got like schizophrenia and everything.
Right.
So like we try to help him, but like certain things that like we think like normally you'll take help on, he's like real skittish.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he literally gets arrested just to have like food and shelter.
Yeah.
Food and shelter that he knows he doesn't have to like pay for.
Wow. It's wild.
Like it's completely insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, not to be insensitive, Jesus. I just realized what I said.
No, that's just real though. And it's like we should not. Why do we have this society where that's even an option? And why do we have this thing called the state if it doesn't even provide for us food and shelter? That should be like the bare minimum of what a state should be doing for people. Is like ensuring they have a literal place to put their head under and food to put in their mouth.
Well, instead of doing it themselves, they just like to count on people who are trustworthy, and they just, yeah, you're surely gonna help shelter these people, right?
Oh my God, these shelters are terrible too.
Like,
a lot of the shelters are like religious too.
I really want to start back that fight for the shelter.
Me too.
I really want to start that back because there's so many homeless people in our county.
Oh yeah, and like it was a real movement that was being organized, and it really just like they kind of ran into a tactical problem of like what they were doing wasn't really effective, and I think there was some disagreements onto like how to move forward, which like that happens in organizing all the time. And part of what we're gonna have to learn as like green thumb organizers is like how to move forward with that stuff and not let petty differences like break relationships. But like that move to get a shelter here could be such a powerful movement and such an important movement to like really start changing this local society.
And like we have to fix how we view homelessness, because like in this county alone, we don't have the standard homeless person, the person who just like, yeah, I don't want to like do anything for years, and then all of a sudden I end up on the street. We don't have that type of homeless person. But like anywhere in America, we barely have that type of homeless person. Most of these homeless people are people who had a job in a house yesterday and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden something happened, and then bam, you're out on the street.
Yep.
Or like people with full-time. Actually, a year and a half ago, I was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I was homeless with my wife. We both have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Full-time jobs. Bunch of money. We can quite literally afford to stay in a hotel week after week after week. We were literally just paying rent to a hotel.
Basically.
But because of the way this system works with housing, everything moves so slow that quite literally we were just homeless for no reason.
And there are like empty houses everywhere.
Like
how does that make any sense?
Like we were literally homeless for no reason.
Absolutely no reason. And yet some of these liberals and conservatives will still turn around and say, it's your fault for being homeless. So like,
right.
it's because you didn't work hard enough, like you didn't try hard enough. And That's just ridiculous to me because they're also in the same position, and
I
like
had-
they are like 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
I had an Uber driver say that to me after
Uber driver,
after I
living
told
alone.
him he was a piece of shit for listening to Jordan Peterson in the car.
Good for you.
Right after I told him that, like, we were talking about homelessness and everything, and like, I'm like drilling down into. I'm like, dude, no, it's not what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, quite literally, if you lose this car in an accident, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And they immediately, well, I guess I have to refinance. Are you sure that you can refinance a car after you literally just bought this car?
Mm-hmm.
And he went, well, no, not really. Well, you're not even a capitalist. You don't even have capital.
Yeah, you own no means of production. You own no capital. If his car gets wrecked, that's his only source of
He
income.
was driving a Tesla, by the way.
Oh, so it's gonna blow up anyway.
Yeah.
I can't believe people are driving Teslas as Uber drivers. That's such a stupid idea.
Like, so 90% of my Ubers are
Are
Teslas.
you serious?
It's either a Tesla, a Polestar, or a dang, what's the other electric
I've been
car?
seeing automated
Riven.
electric cars around.
A what?
Riven.
Yes. Yeah.
That's wild. I've been seeing automated vehicles driving around, like tracking out the streets, so they can start doing automated driving. I think the automated driving stuff is so stupid, and like it's them trying to bend over backwards to keep the car infrastructure around, because we're starting to reach that point where it's like everyone recognizes how stupid it is to like have cars everywhere and no public transport whatsoever. But this is their last ditch attempt to be like, check out this new thing where you don't have to actually pay attention behind the wheel. You could just not think at all.
I
I think it's so stupid.
want our transportation to be. I want us to take a book out of a book.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, the whole book. I want to take Orlando's entire book on their infrastructure for public transport. It's so good.
Is it way better?
It's so.
That's the other thing about America. The unequal development is so real.
Like in Orlando, I can get from St. Petersburg into Orlando, and then from Orlando into Apopka. Apopka is like one of those towns to where it's like and Apopka is like Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti in one town,
Oh wow.
where it's like Ypsilanti, where it's like all the abandoned houses and everything. And then Ann Arbor, where it's just like, oh yeah, students all around. We gotta like throw money at everything.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's
The
like
unequal
that, but in one town.
Wow. So like even closer proximity. That's
Right.
wild. And we're anti-capitalists, but we're also pro-socialists. And I always point to, I think China is the place to point to here, because China has solved both public transport and homelessness. Because there's no homeless people like anywhere in China. It's like non-existent, especially like to the actual societal level like it is here. Why? Because they provide housing for everyone, and they provide jobs, and they the public transport is actually a factor in that too, because it allows people to like get around cheaply to jobs, or like it lets them move from their house, commute inward to a workspace. Take like a homeless person in America, even if they get a place to live, well then they have to figure out, how do I get to a place where I can work? And well, if the workplace is too far for them to walk, they have to take a bus or they have to fucking get a car. It's just like being poor is so hard. They make it so hard.
So even our what are they called? Temp agencies are different. Like, so where I was living in the South, in Orlando, the temp agency there would pay you based on like skilled labor. It was like $10 an hour and up. They would pay you based on skilled labor, so I was making like $25 an hour because I could do like masonry, and I was an electrician for a little bit, and I know plumbing. Like, if you need me to like outfit this entire place, I could on my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you could literally show up every single day, 6 a.m. or like in the middle of the day, and they would rather you show up like 6 a.m. because that's when they get most of their jobs in. But you can show up 6 a.m. every single day, get paid for that skilled labor, go home, and they'll pay you on like that day.
Oh wow.
They'll pay you that day, low company card. Company card, because they changed from checks after the whole paperless thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, company card, pay you every single day. Skilled labor. Quite literally, I've seen people go from homeless, go into those, and then like a few weeks later, they're all fine. Because it's nice skill-based labor.
Yeah, exactly.
Up here, like, you gotta, like, go to a tip agency. Maybe they have a job. If they don't have a job, then you gotta go to another agency. If they do have jobs, then you gotta hope that job signs on for you. If that job doesn't sign on for you, then you have to go to another one. And most of the time, it's like a factory job.
Yeah,
You don't really
lots
get
of
to
factory
choose
jobs.
the job. Like, down there, you get to choose what job you want. Like, I've worked for Universal, Disney, like,
Wow.
I've done those projects to where, like, they don't tell you what you're building, and they just, like,
Oh wow.
bring the crew in and out on, like, certain projects just so they can keep everything secret. Like,
That's fascinating.
it was to the point to where I found out I was working on, one of the Harry Potter rides. I was working on one of the Harry Potter rides, and then I was working on, they didn't confirm it, but we were fixing something that the Imagineers couldn't get to, like their straight up Imagineers couldn't get to. So we were fixing like some regular like infrastructure, and then they just like
That's crazy.
booted us out.
Yeah, like, get that
Like,
money.
take this pay and get the fuck out.
Wow, that sounds like kind of fun work.
It is fun work.
But yeah, that stuff does not exist around here. Because what do they have? Like, factory line jobs, basically. I'm sure they don't get paid very well either.
Oh, no.
We have a pretty bad wage problem.
Like, the pay is terrible.
Cost of living is pretty bad too. Oh man. I gotta stretch it.
But yeah, like, pay up here is, like, super terrible for that type of work. And then, like, if you do get paid good, then it's usually through, like, an app that you went through.
Yeah.
And not usually, like, our actual setup. You go here to get work places. Like, I find that very troubling.
Right.
My English is breaking.
What is that? I don't know what that is. Solid.
I mean,
We should pivot into, I don't know, we should pivot into, like, other shit. Prophetic, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, how long have we been going?
We've been going for a while. We can keep going.
You guys have been going for almost an hour.
Almost an hour, we need more than that. Come on.
I mean, it's
What do you got? You got any topics?
Yeah, topic ideas. You guys already talked about the MAGA commies.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I kind of forced that in there.
Yeah. What about you could talk about more broad spectrum. You could talk about like CPUSA versus PSL.
I don't know if I would know enough about that.
I mean, I do.
I ain't trying to throw hands with PSL.
I'm not trying to, like, go against, like, our party guidelines too hard.
Yeah, we've already pushed it a little bit.
Yeah, like, I'm trying not to, like, get kicked out. I'm not trying to get the baby that we have made here taken away.
Yeah. We'll scrub through this one. I've been needing to watch some more anime.
Yeah.
Did you see they're gonna make an anime for what the fuck is it? It's like his wife becomes a high schooler and he waits for her to like grow up so he can marry her again.
What? Grooming the anime?
Yeah. Pretty much.
But
I hate that shit so much.
what are we doing here?
I don't know.
Wait. Does she retain her memories?
Yeah, she just like becomes young.
Oh, well.
With like the same mind. It's just fucking weird. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
that's super weird. But like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know why it even. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, like that's super pointless. Like,
You know, back when I was in like high school, I used to watch like weekly anime. I used to be like the one who would wait for the new season of anime to come out and like would pick some shows to watch.
I would
But
do that too.
once you do that for a while, you start to realize like all of these shows are like pretty bad.
So I've been on the
It's
high
rare.
seas.
Yeah.
I've been on the high seas for like a very long time. For like a really long time. Like to the point to where like the high seas website that I use is the same website that I've been using since like middle school.
Yeah, you put me on that site. It's
Like,
pretty good.
It's so good. It's got
Pretty good.
It's got almost everything. Like the only thing that I hate that it doesn't have is like the off-brand like the anime of like Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, some weirder stuff.
Yeah, the Powerpuff Girls anime, North Korean anime. For some reason,
Well, they put that on
have it.
YouTube.
Well, yeah, but I would rather the site have it though. I don't want to just like.
Sure. But I can link you up with some YouTube channels that upload Korean cartoons.
Dope.
There's some good ones. They also do they have like live action like
I
tokusatsu stuff?
I think you have to be a member
Oh.
in order to access it. I think that's how they get you.
There are other ways to find it. That stuff's great too, though.
Oh, have you seen? Well, I only have Disney Plus because my little girl needs to watch Bluey.
Oh yeah.
They have to watch Bluey.
What are the
Bluey's
politics
not
of
on,
Bluey?
like, so Bluey's like they don't take a direct stance.
Right.
Like their parents are like rich, obviously.
Yeah.
Like you look at the landscape of the house and where they live in Brisbane.
It's just like really
like
nice.
oh my god. Like it's super rich. Like even the live action like the parks.
Yeah.
Like they built a whole house. Like jeez, dude, it's huge. And they didn't even build like the whole thing. I think.
So Bluey is a petty bourgeois probably.
Like
That's so weird.
super petty bourgeois, but like it's weird because like they have a character. What's his name? His name's Pat, but most of the time you'll hear him as Lucky's dad.
Lucky's dad.
Like they'll throw in like every once in a while like those like folk songs of like the Irish fighting against like
Really?
the people that put them there, because there's Morton Bay or Moreton Bay. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but Lucky's dad. They add just like a little snippet of him singing it while he's putting up the laundry,
Okay.
and it's a folk song about the Irish imprisonment and like them being moved from Ireland
To Australia.
right.
Whoa. That's fascinating.
And like
They snuck that in there?
The song gets stuck in my head every single day, and it's
Oh,
always
I
Lucky's
actually
dad.
think I know what
singing
you're
it.
talking about. No, I'm not gonna try to sing it, but yeah, that's crazy.
Like every once in a while, they just throw in like a little "fuck the Queen."
That's good. No, Australians are crazy like that.
Like they do have like, and they have like an actual like not a full on political episode, but like an episode to where like it's explaining to kids to where like yeah, we have to come together and decide like who can run the country the best, blah blah blah, and it has
wow.
like in the background like all the different colored signs, and it's like red signs, blue signs, green signs for like the Green Party and like all
Wow.
that, and it's
That's
pretty
so
big.
interesting. I used to watch some pretty base shows on the public broadcast in America, like remember like Arthur, Sesame Street is a classic.
Like I have
Some
the
of those shows are pretty
PBS Kids
Oh, yeah.
theme stuck in my head. The dun 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 dun. PBS Kids.
Oh my gosh.
I have that just stuck in
digging
my
up
head
some
all the
memories.
time.
Every day when you're walking down the street
And what Arthur would
that
come
should
on right after. It's
as
just,
an original point of view. Yeah, I love Arthur. Arthur's great because it really tackles some like serious subject matter. There's like a lot of like fighting between people and like arguments, and they like have a lot of
There's
conflict.
this YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
FUDW.
DW is the most annoying bratty character ever. But she always learns her lesson.
I love watching FUDW because, like, for some reason, it's almost every episode you can find something that DW is just being a complete prick
Dude,
about.
that's so funny. One of my favorite PBS Kids shows was Cyber Chase. That show rules.
Cyber Chase.
It's all about like the internet and like technology, and like when you're a young kid who has like a dial-up modem PC, and you're like watching this show, you're like, oh my god, the internet is crazy.
See, like, my little brother and I were so tech savvy that
Yeah.
so our godparents' computer was out for months.
Uh-huh.
We came into the house, went, "When did you get a computer?" And they went, "Oh yeah, we had this for
Oh my god.
years. We just never like really brought it out and like really used it. And like we've been trying to get it on, but it's not working." And I'm just, that's crazy. Hey bro, wanna come over here real quick? He immediately just, computer? Great, let's figure out what's wrong. 5 minutes later, it's completely working.
That's beautiful.
It's working just so fine. Like, well, for the time, it was working like real
course.
fast.
Real fast. Probably faster than my computer now. We used to have, let me think. The earliest we had was probably Windows Vista.
I forget what Windows it was. All I remember is turning on the computer and we immediately got to like the Cartoon Network games,
Yes.
Wrigley's games.
Yeah.
Well, what else was it? It was so many good Flash games.
Oh yeah, they had some pretty good pre-built ones on those early Windows versions.
Do you remember Super Smash Flash?
Yeah.
So good.
There's also one of my other favorite Flash games is called Ultimate Flash Sonic.
Yes.
That game is amazing, and it has like some passwords that you can put in to like unlock secret characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like memorize the passwords so I can play Shadow and be cool and edgy. That game's awesome.
Speaking of Shadow, I still
Speaking of Shadow the Hedgehog.
I still hate that it's an abandonware game.
Yeah.
Like, why?
There's so many abandonware Sonic games. We used to have. Did you ever play Sonic and the Secret Rings?
Yes.
That game was terrible, but it's like really nostalgic for me.
Like it like I don't feel like it was that terrible. Like it didn't deserve as much hate as it got.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
but like,
it's just clunky.
compared
It's
to the
just
rest of
clunky.
the games, yeah, it's clunky as hell.
but like every Wii game's clunky.
Right.
Like I've never played a Wii game that isn't a big clunk.
Like the only Wii game that I played that wasn't clunk was like, it was a port-in from like an old Centipede game that they had.
Yeah.
And
some,
that
like,
was the
arcade
only
games.
game that wasn't clunky.
Right. Oh, I love the Wii though. It's like my favorite console. It's got so many good games. We had this game called Build and Race, and it was like this shovelware racing game where you could like build tracks out of like prefabricated components, but like a bunch of the prefab pieces of the track like didn't fit together, so you'd have like a bend right connected to like a bend left.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you try and drive into it, it's just like you smash into the wall or you like go into the invisible void underneath. So we would like intentionally make like the most messed up like junky tracks ever, and it's like so much more fun to play like that because craziness just happens around you. We found another really funny glitch where if you like tip the car on its nose and hold left, the car will start spinning, and it will like keep itself there and it'll start spinning, and you can like get point bonuses by getting like 360-degree spins. So one time I set it up, so I had the car spinning, and I must have had it going for like 5 hours to see if I could like max out the spin potential. It literally could have gone forever. I love those shovelware games because you can just find like weird shit like that
This is reminding
that just
me
shouldn't work.
of being just a young kid and putting Hot Wheels tracks together.
It's very Hot Wheelsy.
Like just having a bunch of like the speed things and being able to just like tilt the tracks however you want them,
And
they just go into like Ringling Brothers circus levels of just spinning.
Yeah, I love those.
Like I am so happy about having children.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about having children. One, because children are fucking precious.
Yes.
And young
True.
communists are needed. And then
Right.
two, I get to buy basically myself toys.
There you go.
Because like I get to buy myself like all of my old childhood toys.
Right.
Because I have to buy my kids toys.
Of course.
And I have to have something that they can actually learn off of. And most of what I had was like Duplo,
Legos.
Mega Blocks, like
Those toys are amazing.
and like I had like Lincoln Logs, like all types of like learning tools. I had the like what were supposed to be straight up classroom tools, but like the counting sticks and the cubes and stuff. Like
Those are so good.
I miss them so much, and like I'm gonna buy my children all of them.
Good for you.
We already bought them blocks, and they love them.
Oh, of course. When you're a child, that stuff is like the best.
So like my oldest, she took the blocks and like she would just throw them everywhere, and then she saw me actually like build stuff out of them, and she immediately got interested.
Yeah.
And I'm so
Very
happy
neat.
about that. Immediately got interested to the point to where like she picked it up. I made like this spaceship.
Yeah.
Picked it up. It broke in half, and like she immediately just like, oh no.
And put it back together.
Like she put it down, got it back together, and picked it up, and it fell apart again. And like she like finally handed it to me. I was like, yeah, I've got it. It's fine. It's supposed to do that.
That's so precious.
And I found out that she loves to sort colors.
I was a big color person when I was a child. I still love colors.
Like she sorts the blocks. There's these plastic little like what are they? The little spheres. I don't want to call them the other thing.
Sure.
It's a ball pit. Jesus.
Ball pit.
Yeah, but I have a very dirty brain. I'm sorry. But
You said it on me.
But there's a ball pit that we bought her, and it's inside of a princess tent. She took all of them and separated out all of the colors.
Yeah, like
So like
colors.
it looks like somebody just like randomly got like super like ADHD and just decided to like, all of these M&Ms are just not where they're supposed to be.
I would do that with like all the candies.
Like I still do that. Like,
Yeah.
Jeez.
One of the only things getting me through my job right now is that I have literally like a little, like these little puzzle toys, like building toys, and there's like 6 different colors of them, and I'll like arrange them in a gradient and
Nice.
make little shapes. That stuff sticks with you.
Like honestly, that's the reason why I got into like Rubik's cubes. Because it's just like, yeah, pretty colors that spin, and I can fidget with something.
Oh man, I bet you can't wait till your kids are Rubik's Cube age.
They're gonna be beast.
Teach them how to do it.
Like
I never learned how to do a Rubik's Cube.
Really?
No. I know, isn't that crazy? I'm like a physicist and mathematician, I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube.
That's crazy. Like I have so many Rubik's cubes.
It's on me at this point.
Like when we go back, do you want a Rubik's cube?
No, they stress me out.
I have so many of them. Please take one.
They're too scary for me. I look at them and I get stressed out. I'm like, I can't. It's too much.
Like, at first, that's
Too
what
many
it
colors.
was for me, but, like, I can, like, at this point, I can solve them in under 60 seconds now.
Which is my little brother. My little brother has like a sub 30.
Like, man, it's nothing compared to, like, the world, like, champions.
Yo, they're
like,
crazy. They're
man.
crazy. They're not even thinking. They're just like muscle memory going. It's like, what?
Oh, no, like, that's the thing. They are thinking. That's the crazy
How do you think
part.
that fast?
Because, like, the muscle memory ones, like I do muscle memory, and that's how I do under 60 seconds. But, like, the ones that just, like, are at competitions and they have, like
They can like study the cube before the timer, right?
like, they study the cube before the timer, and, like, a couple of them only take a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Like, they'll take, like,
So
5
okay.
seconds, put it down, and then start the timer, pick it up, put it down, and then stop it.
That's wild. They just figure out like the most optimized path.
Yep.
That's some brainiac shit right there.
I can't understand the people that do it blindfolded.
That doesn't make any sense to me. How do you even do it blindfolded?
Like that's how far ahead that they're thinking. Like, they quite literally, they can,
That's wild.
they still get to, like, study the cue, but then
Oh.
they put it down, put the blindfold down,
And they can do it.
same speed, same accuracy.
It's like blindfolded chess.
Like,
It's like, how do you remember all that? They must have just very vivid visualization.
So it has to be, because that's how I can do blindfolded chess. Like,
You
if
picture the board.
like, if you just shout out to me, like, actually, my brother and I can do, like, just straight up. If we're just sitting here like
You
this,
just
my
play
brother
chess.
and I can just play chess like this.
I wish I could do that.
Like, I love it. It's
That's
like,
awesome.
it's one of the best things that you could possibly have. Because, like,
Yeah.
if you're anywhere, you can be anywhere. You
Play.
you could have, like, no power, no nothing, and just, like, all right, let's play chess. Bet.
Yeah. D2 pawn to E3. Just moving my pawn forward. That's all I could do. That would be really fun to try and learn how to do that though. I'm bad at chess as well.
I mean, like, chess is, like, it really depends
played
on
them
who you're playing against. It's one of those
Yeah.
things of, like, it's really who you're playing against. Like, you can't really, I'm not that great at chess to where I'll beat, like, the grandmasters or anything.
Sure.
But, like, I can teach people chess. And I can teach people, like, winning strategies.
Uh-huh.
And they can employ them differently than what I would have employed them as. And it's really just how you employ the strategies.
Yeah.
Like, just like a Rubik's Cube.
It is very Rubik's-like. A Rubik's-like game. I just don't know any of the winning strategies. That's why I'm bad at chess. But I just gotta put the time in. I'd rather learn how to play some video games, though, if I'm being honest. Super Smash Brothers, Tekken. That's more social capital.
I still gotta play the newer Tekken.
It's fun. I only played a little bit of it, but it's pretty fun. Tekken's like a rock, paper, scissors fighting game.
There's this one super simple game, Apotheon Arena. It's super simple. Literally, it's just a 2-platform. Almost looks like stripped down Mario.
Yeah.
But it's 2, not Roman.
Greek?
Yeah, Jesus.
Wow.
Hey, look, I don't know.
They're the same. They're not. There's some
they're-
Greek people who are mad for saying that. What is this on? Is this a Steam game?
Oh, yeah, but it's a Steam game. It's 2 Greek figures. You get an arena of weapons, sort of like Smash Brothers.
Sounds like Nidhogg. Do you know what that game is?
I don't.
It's like similar, like a 2D fighter, where you have like swords and you have to stab the other person.
It's just swords, oil vase as an explosive. You get to throw
That's
a
funny.
boulder. Like the boulder and the oil vase are obviously like the one hit. But they're obviously like hard to use.
Yeah.
You get spears, swords, pretty much everything. But like guns, like no guns. Obviously, it's like arrows and javelins. But it's so fun. Like it's just super simple, but really fun. Especially if you're playing against like somebody super competitive. It's one of those games that like, looking from like the outside, like you just look at it, it's like, nah, this game's too simple. But once you actually get into it, it's like, yeah, this is like hours of fun. I want to introduce multiple people to this.
Is it free? I'll check it out.
I'm not sure. Like
No.
it probably is because I didn't buy a lot of my games.
Sure.
Like I don't buy games if I don't have to, which is why I like Epic Games.
There you go. That's why I play
Not sponsored.
games. No, we're definitely not sponsored by Epic Games. We're sponsored by my wallet.
But yeah, Epic Games just, yeah, you want a weekly free game? And like some of the games are like really good and some of the games are just like, eh.
It's a crapshoot.
But hey, free game is a free game. Then, speaking of games, did I talk about Hellblade here? Hellblade is so good. So like, Steam release on the version I'm playing was 2017. They just released Hellblade 2. So I'm playing through the first one so I can get to the second one. And the first one was, I think it's still on sale right now, $2.99.
There you go.
But like the first one, it's so good. Like I'm only in the first part of it, but it's so good. It's dealing with heavy psychosis and schizophrenia. Like it's just,
So it's a story-based game?
it's a heavy story-based game. It's this woman, or who I'm perceiving as a woman, I think. It's this person going out to basically deal with a lost love. And like the entire time that you're going through this, like headphones are suggested. Because the entire time that you're playing the game, there's voices speaking to you.
Jesus.
There's voices speaking to you, and it's a whole binaural experience. And like as you're going through it, like the more intense it gets, the more intense the voices get. Like you're going through parts to where like, oh, it looks like something might pop out at you, and the voices don't make it better because the voices are just like, hey, watch out, like, fuck.
Oh my god.
And like they're it's just a constant whisper of voices just overlapping, and sometimes you don't listen to them, and sometimes it's very helpful to listen to the voices.
Yeah. Clue you in.
Like it's just, it's
That game
insane.
sounds wild.
I love it. It's extremely wild, and I love it.
I've been looking for some single player experiences, so
And it's
think about it. That game looks cool.
It's one of those games to where like you can step out of it, and someone dealing with heavy psychosis can like, yeah, this is what I've been dealing with.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
I suggest playing it if you want to understand people better. Play it.
Yeah.
Another game I suggest playing if you have like a romantic partner, or even if you just want to like build relationships with someone who's not even a romantic partner. Because I played this game with both my wife and my brother.
Yeah.
Like it's super fun, and then like going through the story, if it's a romantic partner that you're playing with, you're gonna feel something.
Okay.
It takes two.
I feel like that's where you were going with it. Yeah, I've heard about this game.
Yeah, it's older by this point, but
It looks really fun though.
it's so fun. It is so fun, and it really builds teamwork.
Right. Right.
Like it builds teamwork, and then like if you're paying attention to the story, it's probably gonna bring you like closer together.
Damn.
Like
I will keep that one in my back pocket. I will employ it. Yeah, I don't have any games to bring up because I haven't been a gamer in years. I
like
used to play games all the time.
like I wouldn't call myself a gamer. Like
Do you play video games every day?
no.
Okay, you're probably not a gamer.
No, it's not.
It's like my base.
Like I have the option to,
Right.
but like it's not. I'd rather like do a lot of party stuff first.
Same. That definitely means you're not a gamer. Because gamers will always choose the game over
Like-
everything else.
Like I view games as like more of my reward.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get into like just gaming every single day, like unless I'm like Markiplier or something. But
Well, we ain't Markiplier.
man,
What's up, everybody? It's Markiplier.
but yeah, like unless I'm like Markiplier or even like one of his friends.
Yeah.
Or like one of their friends, because like even their, like even friends of friends are like,
Boom.
yeah.
Big shots.
But yeah, I don't want to get like too deep into like video games. Like I used to be like super deep into video games when I was younger. But nowadays it's like
When I was in college, Dream Code was when I was really into video games. That's fine. Because nothing else was happening.
like I think nowadays it's more me trying to like find video games for like the experience of it.
Yeah.
It's not just a game to play a game. I want to experience something when I play this game, or I want to like bring people like together.
Yeah.
Like I will have like game nights where like I'll bring a bunch of friends over and we'll play like Overcooked 2.
Yeah, but that has like way more meaning and purpose than
Right.
all that, than just sitting in your room grinding League of Legends or something.
Yeah, I can't
You know.
do that. I can't.
It's just not healthy.
Because, like, well, like, technically, you can still be a gamer, but, like, play with, like, there's plenty of gamers that play with, like, their families. Like, it's not necessarily, like, a cutoff.
Sure.
As people, like, usually see it. It can be.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely can be. But it doesn't have to be. And, like, that's where I'm at with it. I don't want it to be a cutoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should not be putting up walls between you and your people.
Right.
And I'm thinking about it in like where you have like a certain amount of time that you could allot in your day. And what I'm grappling with is like, well, where am I going to spend that time? I'm putting a lot of it into the party. I'm putting a lot of it into work. And then I have so much for like personal stuff. And that is where it's like, well, do I want to just go and play a video game? Or do I want to go and like write something or draw something or like hang out with friends or like do stuff like that? And view it more holistically now instead of just like only going to video games. It's like
Right.
there's so many other options selects, to speak in gamer terms, that you can do that have other fulfilling properties to them.
Like honestly, like I will spend time with my wife playing a video game. Like because my wife didn't grow up with like any video games. So
wow.
like
You can
once
show
ag-
your wife
once
so many cool
again,
games.
it's the experience of it because I get to like watch her like interact with these mechanics for the first time.
Oh, it's a great
and,
feeling.
Like I love watching her play Assassin's Creed
Oh yeah.
because it's like like there's a puzzle element to it. Sometimes the fights get hard, and it's like
Yeah.
I love watching her being able to like figure stuff out.
Yeah, learning the game and
Like
stuff.
it's amazing. Like I love it.
That's
And like
good.
of course it sometimes comes down to like, honey, will you do for me? Like, okay, fine. Like I'll do this part, but you got to do the hard part, like the
Yeah.
actual hard part. Okay.
Put your hardest work into that boss.
It's like you're never gonna learn unless you actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like eventually, like she ends up just like, all right, let's do it. And like she's fought like so many boss battles like on her own,
Nice.
and it's like, see, I told you you could do it. Like you
Right.
come get me.
And what was I gonna say? I'm crying. I'm not crying. I'm just tired. I had coffee in the morning, and I should have had coffee later.
Your Markiplier shaking and crying already.
Yes. Play the Markiplier kid. But I like video games. I'll defend video games because it's like the coolest art form that can only exist in like this interactive internet age, like technological age.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like infusing theatrics with like moving picture and art
Mm-hmm.
and like all of these different artistic mediums into one thing, and it's
Like the
cool.
music.
And the music.
Like there's just entire fan bases dedicated from like just soundtracks alone.
Literally, look at Undertale. There's an entire sub community of Undertale fans who just like remix the songs, like make new songs in the Undertale style.
There's so much Pokemon dubstep.
Oh yeah, there are some amazing Pokemon remixes. There's some good Pokemon songs. There's one that's like a Cruel Angel's Thesis from Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth's theme, but like in the sound font of a Pokemon game, and it like works way too well. I love that track.
We also have like not only through like video games, but like through like animes and like shows
Yeah.
too, like their soundtracks. Oh my god, for the longest time I'm dating myself, but my MySpace,
Okay.
my
I was like,
MySpace,
you're definitely not using MySpace, but
my MySpace was so dope. You would open it up and it had Elle's theme song that would just play.
oh, that's good.
It had Elle's theme song that would play, and like it had like this weird moving background to it. Like it was crazy.
That's awesome. I mean, MySpace is great. I wish they weren't lame. It has so much more character to it, like your personalized page and all that. Like play the sounds like that.
It was great when it lasted.
I would probably have like, I would either have like the anthem. I would have the international play when you open my page.
Oh my gosh.
Like you just open it and it's just like full blast communism right in your face. That's basically how I want my YouTube channel to be.
That would be great.
I'm gonna come out with an intro video. I don't want to leak too much about it, but it's gonna be very much so like that.
But
Just
I-
blast your face full of communism.
I absolutely love the symbol that you made.
Oh yeah, it's like the straw hat flag, but colored to be like the hammer sickle.
Like it's just perpetually just on my third screen. Like whenever
Hell yeah.
we're recording something, it's just
It's always there.
Like whenever like
I'm
I'm
proud of that
showing
one.
people my screen, that's the first thing they see.
That's so good. I want to buy a straw hat flag and take it to marches. I just got a text from a random number that says hello.
Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Exactly.
We gotta make some music for the party. You and Kayla gotta do that. I
Like,
would be so
we've been
down.
talking about it. We just don't have time.
It is a lot of time to make music. I've tried. It's a long production. We're already doing these videos that take a lot of production effort. It's like mixing music and stuff would be so hard. I know
Like-
music people would be interested though.
I mean, so like I know so many music people.
I'm sure.
Like I just need them to come to the party.
Right.
Just like I know so many talented people, and it's just like just come to the party.
That's like one thing I'd love for the party to do, which like I don't think is necessarily on the radar of national or even our local, but like doing more cultural production of like producing art, like that is really important too, because when that stuff isn't being produced by like local organizations and by people in the community, people still need that stuff. You need to consume art and culture as a member in a society.
Right.
And so where are they turning to? They're turning to like Disney and these like media companies that fill them with all this nonsense, because all of that stuff is super political. It's very political actually. All the shows on cable and the Disney Plus shows and all that, it's like highly political just in the capitalist sense. So it's like we should put forward like literal countercultural stuff. We should uplift countercultural works and like make our own and like give people that alternate programming, literally.
Right.
Like there's a reason they call it programming in like the network spaces, because it's like you're literally programming your audience to think a certain way, because that's like the point of media, is to communicate your ideology and like imbue that into your viewers. And so Michael Parenti has a really good book about this. It's called Inventing Reality. Really good book. Uphold Michael Parenti thought. True. I love Michael Parenti. But yeah, like we should be doing more of that. We should be making more art, making more cultural works. Which is why we're also doing this.
Right.
You know?
Right, we've been going for a really long
We've been
time.
going for a while.
And I need to use the bathroom before I die.
I do that thing too. How do you want to end this shit?
I mean, I could always just